A very good evening. It's the 12th of November 2023. Welcome to the primetime news here on TV1. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Sirasa Nayaka. Before we take a look at the top stories that we've got for you this evening, let's take a look at the headlines. Sri Lanka cricket team was not under any threat or pressure to underperform. Sri Lankan skipper speaks at a special media briefing, expresses regret for poor performance. Mahela Jayawardena says top Sri Lankan players did not perform well at the World Cup. Trade unions and general public request for concessions in the 2024 budget to be presented tomorrow. Minor tremor in Trincomalee. Rainfall in several provinces exceed 100 millimeters. On to your top story this evening, Sri Lankan skipper Kusal Mendis says that neither him nor his team were influenced by external parties at the ICC Cricket World Cup. He expressed his regret to fans for the performance of the Sri Lankan team at the World Cup. Meanwhile, consultant coach Mahela Jayawardena says that while the best players were selected for the World Cup, they did not perform well at the tournament. This special media briefing regarding the 2023 ICC Cricket World Cup was held at the premises of Sri Lanka Cricket. Sri Lankan skipper Kusal Mendis, former skipper Dasun Shanaka, consultant coach Mahela Jayawardena and head coach Chris Silverwood attended the media briefing.
Dasun Shanaka, නායකත්වයේ වෙනසක් කරන්න කියලා කොහෙන් හරි බලපෑමක් ආවද? ඇයි දසුන්ව ආයි ඉදිරි තරඟ වලට දැම්මේ නැත්නම් මොකක් හරි බලපෑමක් එල්ල වුණාද?
බලපෑමක් තිබ්බේ නැහැ නායකත්වයෙන් අයින් කරන්න කියලා දසුන්ට ආබාධයකට ලක් වුණා ඒක.
There was no influence to remove him from the leadership. Dasun was injured. We acted based on the advice of medical professionals. We had formed the team with Dasun in it. We had to remove Dasun from the playing 15 and bring in Charmika. Since Charmika was not in the playing 15, we had to bring in this all-rounder since if we didn't, we couldn't have created the team for the next matches. If Dasun recovered, we had the option of including him in the team again. That is how we made the decision.
එනවා ඔහු කණ්ඩායමත් එක්ක පුහුණුවීම් වල නිරත වුණොත් ඒ අනුව තමයි අපි ඒ තීරණය ගත්තේ.
Was the Sri Lankan team influenced by the Indian team?
As the manager, I can confirm that we did not have any external influence like that. When we compete, we always play for the country. But just like the manager said, when we were batting, the wickets were different, and I believe that is the reason why all of our players couldn't play their usual shots. Also, several other teams were bowled out for lower totals when they played against India.
ඔබතුමාලා ලකුණු 55කට අවුට් වෙච්ච එක තමයි අද වෙනකොට මේ ක්‍රීඩාවේ දැවෙන ප්‍රශ්නයක් බවට පත් උනේ. නමුත් ඔබතුමාලා ලකුණු 100ට එහා පැත්තවත් ප්ලේ කරලා තිබුණා නම් අද ICC එකේත් අපි ඉන්නවා. ඒක පිළිගන්නව නේද?
ඔව් ඇත්තටම ඒක ගැන ගොඩක් කනගාටුයි.
I express my regret regarding that. The same thing that happened in the World Cup happened in the Asia Cup, and it is our fault. We accept that. We do not plan to get dismissed for 50 runs or score 100 runs or 200 runs. You can't play cricket like that no matter who says what.
දැන් මේ තරඟාවලිය පුරාම ගහපු මැච් වලින් තව ලකුණු 30ක් අපිට එකතු වෙලා තිබ්බනම් අපි චැම්පියන්ස් ට්‍රෝෆි එකේ ඉන්නවා. ඇයි අපිට ඒ තැනට යන්න බැරි වුණේ? මොකද ප්‍රේක්ෂකයෝ ලොකු බලාපොරොත්තුවක් තියාගෙන හිටියා. ඒගොල්ලෝ ගොඩක් ඩිසපොයින්ට් වෙලා ඉන්නවා මේ අවසන් තරඟ කීපේ ක්‍රීඩා කරපු විදිහත් එක්ක.
අපි කනගාටු වෙනවා අපි කොහොමද මේ තරඟාවලිය නිම කරේ කියලා.
We express our regret over how the final few matches were played. I personally was expecting that we will be able to finish at the 6th or 7th position on the points table. There were several matches that we should have won, but we lost them. We have our weaknesses. There are weaknesses in the experience of this team, and there are mistakes made by the players. I believe that the players know about this, but this is the most talented team that we have. Therefore, we need to correct our mistakes if we want to play with the other international teams. There are plans that we have made, and I have even in the past requested SLC to give us a sports psychologist. We need that kind of knowledge. We are responsible for the decisions that we made.
ඒ වගකීමත් ගන්න කැමතියි.
පාර්ලිමේන්තු මන්ත්‍රීවරයෙක් කිව්වා මේ ඔබතුමාගේ කීවර තමයි එදා බොක්ස් එක දෙන්න ඉස්සෙල්ලාම බෝල් කරන්න කණ්ඩායම නායකයෙක් තීරණය කරේ කියලා කතාවක් වෙයි.
පාර්ලිමේන්තු වරප්‍රසාද තියාගෙන
Only parliamentarians can speak inside parliament while having parliamentary privileges. I believe that was the reason why he said it. If he has anything else to say, he can say that outside of parliament, and I believe there is also a unit at the sports ministry where he can go and present his views. He has the right to do that, but I will not respond to things that he has said inside parliament under parliamentary privileges.
ආගෙන ඇතුලේ කතා කරන එකට මම උත්තර දෙන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ.
Was there any influence or threats from Sri Lanka cricket to lose matches?
තර්ජන කියන එක නම් මට එහෙම ආවේ නැහැ.
I did not receive any threats. I believe that no one in the team received any threats. We went into every match looking to give 100% of our performance for the country. We always wanted to bring happiness to our country and our fans. Unfortunately, we were not able to do that. Neither I nor my players were influenced by the cricket board.
ඒවට මගේ ප්ලේස් එකටත් එහෙම ආවේ නැහැ කියන එක මම කියන්න කැමතියි.
There were many developments in the administration of the sport and in the political arena while the tournament was ongoing. Did those developments have any impact on them?
Yes, actually there were concerns when it's pretty obvious. It's on social media and all the players have phones. You know, the information, whatever happens here is communicated instantly. And we had one of the officials from Sri Lanka Cricket who also came there and advised the players.
Obviously from a political point of view, being an outsider, I think it would be wrong of me to go there. And respectfully, I won't go there. I will say that some of the things that was written about me were factually incorrect. So I'll just put that out there just to clear that one up.
Sri Lanka's skipper Kusal Mendis also spoke about comments he made regarding the century scored by Virat Kohli at the post-match press conference.
ඉතින් එයා මගෙන් ඒ වෙලේ ප්‍රශ්නය අහද්දී
When he asked me that question, I was wondering what he was questioning me about. I believe what I said at the time was wrong because it is not an easy task to play 49 centuries. There were certain people who had reprimanded me for that comment. I was emotional at the time when I answered. Later, I realized what I said was wrong. I express my regret regarding that.
ඒක වැරද්දක් කිව්වේ කියලා. ඉතින් මම ඒක නැත්තර කනගාටු වෙනවා.
Journalists raised questions regarding the controversy surrounding Angelo Matthews being timed out in the match against Bangladesh.
අපි වීඩියෝ පටියට මොකද මම ගිහිල්ලා පෞද්ගලිකව එක චෙක් කරා.
I personally went and checked the video. I went to the TV bus and checked the original video. Angie had about 5 to 6 seconds left when he took his stance at the crease. If there is an equipment malfunction, the umpires have a duty to allow for that to be replaced. That is common sense. We went and spoke to the umpires after the match. They too accepted that he had 5 seconds left. Angie didn't go there with a broken helmet. It was only after he went to the crease that his helmet broke. That was unfortunate. At the time the strap broke, Angie had 5 seconds left. The Bangladesh captain could have shown some gentleman-like qualities, but what happened has happened. That too was a good experience for us as a team to understand how we can prevent that from happening in the matches that we play in the future.
විදියට අපි ඒ තැනට නොයවා අපි කොහොමද තරඟ ඉදිරියට සෙල්ලම් කරන්නේ.
අපිට වෙච්ච දේ ගැන අපිට කන්ට්‍රෝල් කරන්න බෑ අපේ ක්‍රීඩකයන් විදියට.
We have no control over what happened as players. We are not used to stay at home and do nothing. We always want to practice. As the team captain, I hope that this ban will be lifted soon and we will be able to resume our practices soon. We have several tours next year and we have to prepare for them. I hope that this will happen soon. I apologize to our fans for the mistakes that we made at the World Cup. We have a few World Cups left, and as a member of the team, I hope that we will be able to play better in the form that our team once was. We are preparing to shoulder all of those responsibilities and perform well as a team.
හැම දෙයක්ම බාර කරට අරගෙන ටීම් එකේ හැම දෙයක්ම හොඳින් කරගෙන සහභාගී වෙන්න අපි සූදානම්ෙන් ඉන්නවා.
What has the Sri Lankan team learnt from this World Cup tour?
There seem to be a lot of areas where the players just couldn't, like, getting past 350, getting close to that 400 mark regularly in one-day cricket. It seemed like the team wasn't capable of getting there. I just want to know the learnings that you all as a team have had watching some of this really high-level cricket.
We knew that when we went to India, when we saw the wickets, how they were behaving, that we had to play at a very high tempo, which we discussed with the batsmen. something that they were not used to, particularly leading up to the World Cup, because the surfaces we were playing did not allow us to do that, and most of the surfaces that we play in Sri Lanka, because it's a question of us understanding what our skill set is, how are we going to win our strengths. Domestic cricket is being played on slowish wickets, so the batsman will not trust their shot selection on good wickets because they're not used to that. Yes, we had a bowling unit that we planned building up to, but unfortunately we couldn't take those 5 bowlers. These are learnings. I mean, how do we keep our best players on the park? That's something that individually as players they need to be much more disciplined in their fitness and how they go about doing that. As skill wise compared to other teams, we need to improve. I think the boys knows that. For me, the biggest concern is our fielding. Our intensity on the field, we dropped 16 catches, which is the highest in the competition. I mean, usually for us to compete at highest level, you need a higher group of players with 150, 200 plus games. That would have been a different story. What I notice over the course of a tournament like this, because of our fitness, the fatigue got into us and the performance died down from first game towards the last game. So there are areas we know we need to improve going forward. Our domestic cricket, the skill set, the standard needs to improve, the fitness needs to improve. There's no hiding behind. And us as coaches and advisors and doing all this, we take full responsibility. But it is a process that we all have to trust and be patient.
From a batting perspective, we have to learn to put big scores on the board. If we look, we need to convert more, so we get good starts. We need to convert more of our starts into big hundreds, like we've seen various people do throughout this tournament on the other sides. We need to create big partnerships. I think from a bowling perspective, in the power play, certainly Dilly was a shining light there for us, so I'd like to highlight him. And then from a fielding perspective, we need to obviously hold on to more chances.
The second reading of the 78th Appropriation Bill will take place in Parliament in just a few hours. President Ranil Wickremesinghe, in his capacity as the Finance Minister, will present the 2024 budget to Parliament at 12 noon tomorrow. This is the second budget presented by him since taking office as President.
The final preparations of the 2024 budget took place at the official residence of the President this morning. A group including State Ministers of Finance Ranjit Siambalapitiya and Chihant Semasinghe participated in the discussion. After the President tables the 2024 budget at 12 noon on Monday, the debate on the second reading of the budget will commence on the 14th of November. The debate will run for 7 days from the 14th to the 21st of November. The vote on the second reading of the budget is set to take place at 5:30 p.m. on the 21st of November. The committee stage debate or the third debate of the 2024 budget is set to take place on Wednesday the 23rd of November and it will conclude on the 13th of December. The vote on the third reading of the budget is scheduled to take place at 5:20 p.m. on the 13th of December. It has been made essential that parliamentarians and ministers be present in Parliament during the debates on the budget. The Office of the Chief Government Whip has informed all parliamentarians and ministers to reserve their time appropriately to attend the budget debates.
Views were expressed regarding the budget that is to be tabled in Parliament tomorrow.
Salaries can only be increased for state sector employees. Salaries of semi-government employees should also be increased. The salaries of pensioners should be increased. Therefore, in the end, it was decided to increase salaries by at least 2,000 rupees. We made that proposal to the government. We hope that the President would grant the state sector employees, semi-government sector employees as well as private sector employees with a reasonable salary hike. The IMF has said that the revenue of the government is not sufficient. What is the response of the government to this? The government's response is to increase the tax of sugar to 50 rupees. The VAT was increased by 3% and will come to effect from next year. Remember that the price of fuel and electricity will increase by 10% since they have increased the government revenue. Those are the steps taken by the government.
This is a budget proposal presented with the concurrence of the IMF. I don't believe that we will receive solutions to any of our issues through this budget. Certain minor concessions will be given just so that the government can say that they have done something. However, we don't believe that the government will solve this serious crisis that our country is facing through this budget.
මේ අයවැය තුලින්වත් මේ ආණ්ඩුවෙන් නම් අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ අයවැය ඉදිරිපත් කරනකන් දන්නේ නැහැ කොහොමද ඒගොල්ලන් කරන්න හදන්නේ කියලා.
We don't know what they are trying to do until they present the budget. But they have announced that they will increase the VAT to 18%. We request President Ranil Wickremesinghe not to proceed with this crime. The people are cutting down on their food and only have 2 meals a day. They are unable to pay their water and electricity bills. When the VAT is increased to 18%, the prices of goods and services will increase. People who are eating 2 meals will now have to eat only 1 meal, while people who are having 1 meal will have to starve. Therefore, do not continue to suck the blood of the people like this.
ඒ මස් නහර తీරන පොඩ්ඩක් කර මිනිස්සු ගැන හිතන්න.
Meanwhile, several fractions expressed views regarding the 2024 budget.
The expectation of state workers is that their salaries be increased by 20,000 rupees. As teachers and principals, we are expecting our salary anomalies be removed. As of now, the burden of education has been put on the shoulders of parents. Measures must be taken to relieve them of that burden. If not, we will surely enter into a trade union action. After they came into power, the government has been burdening the people for 14 months. Therefore, the people are in need of relief. If they did not provide that, we will take all possible measures regarding it. This budget must provide assistance to farmers by reducing the price of equipment and giving fertilizer reliefs. If not, farmers will have to abandon their livelihood. We did not receive any relief from the previous budget. We hope the salaries of state sector workers, private sector employees and pensioners be increased. We need some relief to overcome these tough economic times. We are extremely helpless at present. We urge the government to at least increase the salaries of state sector employees by at least 20,000 rupees.
What do the people expect from the budget for 2024?
රජයේ පඩියක් වැඩි වුණයි කියලා සමස්ත රටේ ජනතාවට සෙතක් වෙන්නයි අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ මේ එන අයවැයෙන්. කෑව රට මට කියන්න තියෙන එච්චර මේ රට කෑව එකක් මිසක් දැක්කේ නෑ හොඳ දෙයක් නම් පේන්න ඇත්තෙම නෑ. ඒ ගැන අපිට කිසිම බලාපොරොත්තුවක් නෑ මහ ජනතාවට සහනයක් ලැබෙයි කියලා කිසිම බලාපොරොත්තුවක් නෑ.
බොහොම අවදීන් බලන් ඉන්නවා මේ මිනිස්සුන්ට ලංකාවේ මිනිස්සුන්ට ඇත්තටම කාලා බිල ජීවත් වෙන තමයි මිනිස්සු ඉල්ලන්නේ වෙන දෙයක් ඉල්ලන නිසා අයවැයෙන් සහනය ලැබිය යුතුමයි කියලා බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා මේ අයවැයෙන් ගොවියන්ගේ ජන ජීවිතය ශක්තිමත් කරන්න විශාල සහයෝගයක් එන අයවැයෙන් ලැබේවි කියලා.
ගණන් බිලයි වතුර බිලයි මේ ඕ ගෙවල් ඉවර වෙනකොට කොහොමද මේ අපිට හම්බෙන්නේ සොච්චම වැඩි උනේ නෑනේ දැන් මේ රජයේ සේවක විතරද අපි මේ පෞද්ගලික එදා වේල හොයාගෙන කන මිනිස්සු මොනවද මේ කියන්නේ මොනවද මේ කරන්නේ මේ.
For more details on the 2024 budget, you can visit our website www.newsfirst.lk. In more local news, opposition leader Sajith Premadasa says the opposition will strengthen the framework aimed at tackling corruption.
අපි විශ්වාස කරනවා දූෂණයත් දලදේශීය නිෂ්පාදිතේ.
We believe that corruption amounts to a significant portion of the GDP. This situation should not continue. We will implement a proper system to catch corrupt individuals. It is not the duty of the politician to get involved in these measures by issuing orders to call certain people or to rush or to postpone the court cases of certain people. We will use entrenched laws and establish independent institutions to do that by a 2/3 majority in parliament and a referendum.
විශේෂිත වූ ස්වාධීන ආයතන ආණ්ඩු ක්‍රම ව්‍යවස්ථාවේ තුනෙන් දෙකක් සහ ජනමත විචාරණයකින් පමණක් වෙනස් කරන්න.
The opposition leader expressed these views at the blueprint program of the Samagi Janabala Wege held in Wattala Gampaha today. The program was organized to create awareness among the public regarding the economic crisis.
Those were the views expressed by the opposition leader Sajith Premadasa. Meanwhile, the Hambantara District Conference of the retired Triforce Collective of the Jatika Janabala Wege was held today with the participation of the party leader Anura Kumara Disanayaka. Corruption, fraud and crime in the country were discussed at this conference.
ජාතික ජනබලවේගය යනු මේ විනාශකාරී දේශපාලන ප්‍රවාහය වෙනුවට යහපත්
The Jatika Janabalawege was made to combat destructive and corrupt politics and replace it with a clean political culture. The people's hard-earned money was distributed among these groups of friends in billions. The root cause of all the struggles faced by the people, including patients in the hospital, unable to afford medicine, the poor retired man unable to receive a sufficient pension, and the parents of children struggling to provide their children with an education, is the corruption in the country's political system. Therefore, if there is hope of rebuilding this country, we have to first end this corruption. We promise to you that we will first and foremost wipe out bribery and corruption. We need a country where law and order prevails. Currently, crimes and criminals are overflowing. You don't know when you will be shot in the Kosgama area. Were these your expectations for our country? A country where the underworld dictates the rules. Due to a dispute between two underworld gangs in Gaul, an individual lost his life. Investigation revealed that he was a father-in-law of a state minister. Further investigations revealed that he was a drug dealer. You must remember that no political system around the world is as uncivilized as the Sri Lankan political system, where criminals are given a safe haven. The underworld criminals are enriched under the protection of politicians of this country. The drug business is handled by them. Due to this, we are left with a country where there is no respect or regard for law and order. As retired military personnel, did you expect such a corrupt country that is dominated by criminals? A country that protects criminals. As former soldiers, it is no doubt that this is unbearable for you to watch. Therefore, we have made a strong and comprehensive national security plan for our country. And I am well aware that all of you present here today will act as executors of that proposed plan for the future of our country.
එනිසා ශක්තිමත් ජාතික ආරක්ෂක ප්‍රතිපත්තියක් අපි හදලා තියෙනවා. ඒක ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන කණ්ඩායමේ ප්‍රධානම මෙහෙයුම්කරුවන් බවට මෙතන රැස් වෙලා ඉන්න ඔබ ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන බවත් මම දන්නවා. අපි වැඩි කරමු.
News First with the people.
You can tune in to News First, especially on our social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook and Instagram, for the updates of the upcoming 2024 budget. In more news, Moody's Investors Service said that Pakistan and Sri Lanka are among the South Asian countries that are most vulnerable to balance of payments crises. Moody's Investors Service said that Pakistan and Sri Lanka are among the South Asian countries that are most vulnerable to balance of payments crises, citing low exports and the lack of foreign direct investments. Moody's said India was the least vulnerable country to balance of payment crises due to its larger and more diversified export sector, adding that New Delhi also had better macroeconomic policy management in place. In its latest report, Moody's said, quote, Bangladesh, Pakistan and Sri Lanka have much weaker infrastructure compared with India, contributing to high costs to trade, adding that the South Asian nations' market access to other countries is limited on account of them having fewer trade agreements. A minor tremor has occurred in Moravava area of Trincomalee. The Geological Survey and Mines Bureau said it had a magnitude of 3.4.
The tremor occurred at around 1:15 p.m. today. The Geological Survey and Mines Bureau said that the tremor was felt in several areas spanning from Trincomalee to Kantale. The earthquake was felt in several areas surrounding the Moravava town as well. The tremor was also felt in Kantale city limits, which is about 50 kilometers away from Moravava.
We felt a great tremor through the city of Kantale. While teaching the children inside the classroom, we felt the roof sheets vibrating.
දැන් මෙතන මම වාඩිලා ඉඳගෙන හිටියා. ඉඳගෙන ඉන්නකොට කියන්නේ මේ ලොකු හෙලවීමක් මහලේ මම හිතුවේ රිලව් පැන්න කියලා. රිලව් නෙමෙයි. මේක වැටුනේ. මම මෙතනනේ හිටියේ. අර එහා ගෙදර නම් ඇඳේ හිටපුලා මේ හෙල්ලිලා මේ ඇඳත් එක්ක.
Meanwhile, the Met Department says that heavy showers exceeding 100 millimeters may occur in several provinces during the next few days. Those provinces are Western, Central, Sabaragamuwa, South and the Eastern provinces. Kurunegala and Polonnaruwa districts are also likely to experience heavy showers exceeding 100 millimeters. Due to the turbulent nature of the lower atmosphere surrounding the island, the weather forecast states that the current showery conditions could continue. Moving on in the bulletin, the north as well as the northwest and also the south, Gammadda continues in their endeavour to be the voice of the voiceless. Today is the 6th day of the 7th edition of the Gammadda door-to-door program. Gammadda teams visited residents in the Vaunia, Anuradhapura and Galle districts.
පොඩි දරුවෙක්ගේ ඇහැට උදකන හුණු පැකට් එක කඩාගෙන ඇහැට ගිහිල්ලා ඒ ළමයා ගෙනියන්න අපිට ක්‍රමයක් උන්නේ. රාත්‍රී කාලේ බබෙක් හම්බෙන්න අම්මා කෙනෙක් අරන් යන්න අපිට ක්‍රමවේදයක් නැහැ. අසරණයි.
This is the Gajabapura road in the Northern Kerni village in Vaunia. The road is full of large potholes. The closest town is Sampatnuara. The hospital is located 8 kilometers away. Despite how sick a resident here is, he or she has no option but to embark on an arduous journey along this dilapidated road to get any form of medical assistance.
තමයි කාලන්තේ දාලා වැටෙනවා. ළමයි සිහිය නැතුව වැටෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ උදේට කාලා නැහැ. පිට කලින් දවසේ රෑ කාලා නැහැ. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒ තරම් ප්‍රශ්න තියෙන සමහරක් ළමයිට දාන්න සපත් දෙකක් නැහැ. සෙරෙප්පු නැහැ. දැනට ගිහින් බලාගත්තා ඒක විද්‍යාගාරයක් කිසිම දෙයක් නැහැ.
Children suffer the most due to this economic crisis. This is not an issue confined to this village. Gammadda teams were informed of many such unfortunate incidents from villagers including Velioya, Hansavilla, Gajabapura, Mayaveva, Munaraveva, Ethavetunuveva and Sapumalthanna in the Vaunia district. This bridge is located in Rajanganir, Yaya 9 area in Anuradhapura. It has been 25 years since it was constructed. It has not been renovated ever since it was built. The Gammadda team in the Anuradhapura district inquired into the woes faced by people in Rajanganir Yaya 9, Halmilla Kulama, Oluveva and Amunukula.
දැන් අම්මලා දවල්ට මොනවද කන්නේ? දවල්ට ඒ වගේ තමයි කන්නේ සම්බෝලයි. සම්බෝලයි ගත්තේ.
Gammadda teams also visited the southern province. This is Kitulgahagoda Kanda in Baddegama. 150 families that live in this village suffer from this severe shortage of water. People here wonder when they will have access to clean water. Despite unfavorable weather conditions, the Gammadda team in Galle visited the villages of Sandarvila, Kitulgahagoda Kanda, Allakanda, Hattaka, Goda Amuna and Uhanovita to inquire into the issues faced by the people there. Gammadda teams, together with the University of Peradeniya, will continue to look into the issues of the people in rural Sri Lanka in the hope of becoming a voice for the voiceless.
High Commissioner of Sri Lanka to India expressed views on the current economic and political state of the country.
It is very clear to me that everything has been ruined. We don't even know where to begin the rebuilding process because every field has experienced a downfall. One side of this is that the first initiative should be the rebuilding of economy, without which nothing can be done. We don't have funds and resources, and as a result, our competent professionals are leaving this country seeking foreign employment. To change this, we must practically think and address all economic issues.
And that brings us to the end of this edition of Primetime News here on TV1. For the Newsfirst team, I've been Sanita Sena Nayaka. Take care and stay safe.